say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining.
I'm Antwann Michael, and this is The Breakdown. Let's get into it. That is Howard Lutnik. He is the Secretary of Commerce. And perhaps the reason why his mother-in-law isn't going to be calling down to the Social Security office trying to find out where her Social Security check is because Howard is a multi-billionaire. So the reason why his mother-in-law wouldn't be calling down there is because she knows that all she has to do is pick up the phone and call her daughter and or call her son-in-law, because her familial context of being billionaires allows for her to live at ease and at peace, knowing that her family members support her and have her back. And really, you would think for someone like Howard, once you look into his background and understand more about him, for someone that survived 9/11, you would think that he would have a little bit more of an accurate, concise, and clear lens on life in terms of understanding life and its outlook and what everyday people go through. That's what you would think. You would think that he would understand that not everyone is a multi-billionaire, that there are families and individuals that rely on those checks that they've paid into, by the way, that they need to come on time, that they cannot afford for those checks to be skipped. And moreover, that they are entitled to those payments because they have paid into a system that says, hey, we're automatically going to take this out of your check involuntarily in the first place. And that when you get to a certain place in life, the promise of the government is that, hey, we will pay this out for you. And what's interesting in this clip is he's saying, hey, the people that are making the most noise are the fraudsters. How is it that one who is a multi-billionaire, who is not reliant upon Social Security, is going to tell you, the middle-class person, you, the working-class person, that the person who is making the noise about Social Security is the person who is committing the fraud, but the person who is allegedly committing the fraud is the person who paid into the system, who is looking to draw off of that which they paid into in the first instance? Then on the other side of things, you have people like Elon who is saying we need to do away with entitlements, that this is not something that people are entitled to. Again, another multi-billionaire who is saying, you know, never mind the fact that you paid into it. This is not entitlement. This is not what you're owed. Excuse us? Absolutely not. When Elon Musk is the biggest welfare baby in the United States and is an immigrant on top of that. That Elon Musk wealth comes from governmental contracts. He is literally keeps pulling money from the government, keeps pulling money from the government. As a matter of fact, with this most recent continuing resolution bill, they set aside $4 billion for the Federal Aviation Administration, $4 billion that will allow Elon Musk to go in there and take over and put in Starlink and redirect those funds to himself. So now who is the welfare queen? Now, who is the welfare queen? The problem that everyday folk need to understand in the United States is that it's not the person who's selling the food stamps 50 for 100. It's not the person who's on WIC, but it is the multi-billionaires who are thriving off of government checks left and right. Now, they have a problem with you saying my check can't be late, but guess what? They're going to have a problem if their direct deposit is even a few minutes delayed. I think that's so interesting. It's also multi-billionaires who are telling people, oh, you know, undocumented people are taking your jobs and they're doing this, that, and the third and the other, right? Meanwhile, Elon is a South African immigrant who has come into the United States, who has taken everybody's job, and ain't nobody said nothing about it, including the working class people that are standing behind Trump, not realizing he is cutting their jobs left and right, and won't realize it until it hits a town near them and they do not have access to money because a multi-billionaire who's an immigrant has come in and has taken your job. Meanwhile, they were trying to draw your attention to undocumented people and tell you at the same time that you don't have a right to something that you have not paid into. You have got to be kidding me. We have to get very real about this particular conversation because folks have paid into this system. You have folks that are relying on these checks to make their lives happen. And this is what happens when you have an elite class in positions of leadership because they are out of touch, even if they have been impacted by one of the most catastrophic events that this nation has seen. What do we do with that? It's got to get better than this. But I want to be clear that we at this point have to take steps to make sure that the Social Security Administration remains in place and that folks get their checks. And this is why people like Chuck Schumer in the Gang of Nine, who went down there to the Senate and just, raised their hands and gave up and conceded their ground. This is the impact of that, because now you're impacting your constituents. You got to get real with this. This is The Breakdown. I'll see you next time. Peace.